Imagine waking up and finding out that two decisions could turn everything you know about the Toronto Maple Leafs upside down. That a signing, a trade, a behind-the-scenes conversation could change the path of those who have worn that maple leaf for generations. Today, Leafs Nation holds its breath because, between rumors gaining momentum and negotiations returning to the table, the next season could unfold completely differently than anyone imagined. In this video, you'll understand why the hard Toronto beats stronger and faster. When big names start to circulate, contracts get questioned and the old wound of the defense comes up again. Because it's not just about who comes in or who leaves. It's about what we believe in, what we're willing to endure, and how far this jersey can go when everything seems to fall apart. So do this now. Drop your like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Because here we live every detail right along with you. No spoilers before the time, but with all the passion that only Leafs Nation understands. Take a deep breath, fan. The game is about to begin. What if I told you that Mitch Marner may have skated for the last time with the maple leaf on his chest? That the next time he steps on the ice, he might already be wearing the gold and black of the Vegas Golden Knights? It sounds impossible, but today Leafs Nation wakes up to a rumor so strong that even those who swore Marner would be untouchable are rethinking everything they know about this team. Because that's what happens with the Maple Leafs. A trade isn't just a transaction. It's an open wound in the identity of those who love this team, and a hope that maybe one day this curse will end. We know how Toronto breeds hockey. Every kid who learns to skate in this city dreams of being the next great Leaf. Marner did that. He lived it. He grew up on this ice. And when he hit 102 points and 75 assists, it looked like the promise was finally becoming reality. But then the same nightmare came back. Playoffs, hope, early exit. And this time, it wasn't just anyone who dropped a rumor. It was Elliotte Friedman from Sportsnet, one of the most respected insiders. The Leafs and Vegas Golden Knights are reportedly in serious talks to send Marner to Las Vegas in exchange for Nicholas Roy. Yes, Nicholas Roy, who could become a depth piece to give the Leafs what seems to be missing every year: balance. But there's one detail that changes everything. Marner has a no-movement clause. He decides if he stays or goes. And the way this rumor spread, it looks like the player might see an advantage in saying goodbye. By agreeing to a sign-in trade, he can secure a maximum 8-year contract instead of 7 if he waits to hit free agency. And for a 28-year-old player with superstar numbers, that's no small thing. It's a chance to lock in, to find a new challenge, to chase what keeps slipping away in Toronto, lifting the Stanley Cup. And if you think this talk came out of nowhere, you're wrong. The Leafs and Golden Knights have flirted with this before. On 32 Thoughts, the podcast, Friedman shared that last offseason the teams discussed Marner. But Toronto wanted Shea Theodore, an elite defenseman, and Vegas said no. The rumor died there, except it didn't. Because rumors in Toronto never die. They hibernate, like this fan base's hope. And they come back stronger when you least expect it. Meanwhile, Leafs GM Brad Treliving is being blunt. Before the draft, he made it clear for everyone to hear. It's unlikely Marner returns to Toronto. No sugarcoating, no locker room talk to calm the fans. Unless there's a significant change here, I foresee him hitting the market, Treliving said. Those words burn like dry ice in the heart of Leafs Nation. Because anyone who lives this jersey knows what it means to lose a name like Marner, and also knows what it means to keep him when everyone behind the scenes knows he already had one foot out the door. And if you haven't dropped a like yet, do it now. Subscribe, because every detail here is handled with respect for this team's history. Leafs Nation deserves to always be one step ahead when the dust settles and the trade, who knows, is confirmed. Think about it with me. Behind these talks, there's more than just numbers. There's an entire city that hasn't lifted the Stanley Cup since 1967. There's a generation that only knows the Leafs as that eternal promise that next year will be the year. And every player that comes in or goes out of that list carries more than just points on a spreadsheet. They carry the hope of a community. And that's why this rumor hits so hard. Nicholas Roy is a good player, but who fills the hole left by Marner? What does he represent? How do you rebuild the chemistry in the locker room, the power play, everything that's been built around him? On the other side, the Vegas Golden Knights have already proven they know the path to raising the cup. Bringing in Marner would be almost a final blow to cement a new dynasty. A talent fit that could lighten Toronto's cap, but weigh it down with longing. And in the middle of all this is Mitch, pen in hand, able to say yes or no. Imagine the Leafs locker room right now. Do his teammates already know the end might be near? Is the fan base ready to cheer or boo? And anyone who knows Toronto knows there's no middle ground when it comes to passion. This is the part that hurts. Because unlike other franchises, here a trade doesn't end when the announcement drops. It becomes a memory. It turns into bar talk, dinner table debate, cab rides home from Scotiabank Arena. Remember when the city debated Kessel's departure? It took years to get over. Now it's Marner. Maybe tomorrow, someone else. But as long as the cup stays out of reach, every idol who leaves is another reminder that Toronto always pays dearly for the promise of a better future. And now I want to know, if it were you, would you accept this sign-in trade? Would you put the franchise's future in the hands of New Balance? Or try to keep Marner for one more season? Drop it in the comments, because this decision isn't just up to management. It's up to everyone who wears this blue. And that's where the story takes that twist that only those who truly breathe hockey in Toronto can understand. Because if the rumor of Mitch Marner going to the Golden Knights already felt heavy enough for one off-season, imagine when Leafs Nation finds out that, between comings and goings, this void might open the door for something we've been asking for years. A defense that stops bleeding when the ice turns to fire. It's at this exact point that the name Rasmus Andersson, over in Calgary, starts echoing in the minds of those who believe that 1967 has been an excuse for far too long. Because let's be honest, no offense can survive when the team collapses at the back. The series against the Florida Panthers showed that mercilessly. 7 games, every shift fought to the limit, and even then, it only took that game 3. That collapse where the right side defense looked like an open door for anyone to walk through. Everyone who loves this jersey knows how much it hurt to see another season of hope die because there was no one to hold the line. And when the ice melts, what's left? The trade buzz that keeps poking at every fan. Is this the time? The answer might be Andersson. 9 seasons. A contract that doesn't weigh heavily on the cap. $4.55 million. Just one more year. But he brings something Toronto has been missing for a long time. Real hockey sense. He's not just someone to block shots or throw hits. He reads the game, anticipates plays, doesn't flinch when the other side puts on pressure. And anyone who watched the Leafs defense melt against the Panthers knows that quality is gold. And there's more. This flirtation isn't new. Since the trade deadline, according to Kyprios, Andersson has been on Toronto's radar. But it was a shelved rumor waiting for the right time. Now, with Calgary in its own dead end, everything makes more sense. 3 years out of the playoffs since Tkachuk left, a young Dustin Wolf arriving as a new face in net, and expensive veterans who no longer fit for a team looking to rebuild. Anderson is a perfect piece to move. For Toronto, he's the missing piece to bring at least some stability to a blue line that can never stand tall. And when you combine that with what Brad, trail-living himself, has already let slip, that it's unlikely Marner returns, everything starts to feel like part of a bigger board. Maybe Anderson is in the package from Marner. Maybe it's a separate deal. But one thing for sure, every move now matters more than ever. There's over $25 million in cap space. A rare relief for a big team like the Leafs. But that breathing room won't last forever. Tavares and Knies are right around the corner, waiting for decisions. So what now? Do you save that ammo for later? Or do you bring in someone now who can change the locker room right away? And you know what's more Leafs Nation than all of this? Knowing that it's no use dreaming about big names, that the ice remains an invitation for the opponent's goals. Anderson isn't just a pretty stat line from a blue line. He's physical, has that presence of someone who won't take pressure lying down. He's the kind of guy who doesn't crack when things heat up. And let's be honest, how many times have we missed that? We missed it when we needed someone to stop Barkov, Tkachuk, or any other star who loves to exploit that open wound on the right side of the defense. And when we talk about a sign-and trade with Marner, it's not just any rumor thrown into the wind. Marner can, in fact, say no. He has the no movement clause. But the way the narrative is shaping up, you can't ignore that it also makes sense for player. A maximum 8-year deal instead of 7, more security, more money. Vegas betting big on a guy who just put up 102 points in the regular season. For Marner, it makes total sense. For Toronto, it might be painful, but it might also be the push to finally fix what has never been properly fixed: the defense. And then the question comes back, the one nobody wants to answer alone. Is it worth letting Marner go to start over? Is it worth using this chance to get picks, prospects, cap space, maybe slot Anderson into that deal or another? And remember, if nothing changes, the team comes back in October with the same wounds from last year. The same ghost that showed up in Game 3. The same weakness on the right side. The same fear of having a powerful offense, but being helpless at the back. So Leafs Nation, it's in your hands too. This channel exists not just to share rumors, but to live through this together. So do this now. If you haven't hit the like button yet, do it now. Subscribe, because when this rumor turns into fact or fizzles out, you'll know here first. No filter, no hype. And drop your thoughts. If you were trail living, which piece would you move first? Marner out, Anderson in? Or keep Marner, bet everything one more time, and pray the blue line holds until April? And stay tuned, because in the next video, we're going to break down how Anderson's potential arrival would fit into the Leaf system. Who's out, who stays, who loses minutes, who gains respect in the locker room. Because if there's one thing Leafs Nation deserves, it's to believe that every move, no matter how small, could be the first step toward ending this drought that's already become a scar. And if one day this ice becomes a stage for a celebration, you can bet every rumor like this will have been worth every sleepless night. We're in this together, because being a Leafs fan is exactly that: to love, to suffer, and to start over until the next chapter.